Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to be going over some buyer mistakes that you will for sure want to avoid. So stay tuned. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Carla here with Keller Williams Realty, your local realtor in Clarksville, Tennessee. And today I wanted to make a video over some frequent buyer mistakes that I see and how to avoid them. I can make this video a lot longer, but for the sake of time, I've narrowed it down to 5 that I will go into. So let's get right into it. And make sure you watch this video to the end where I share with you one of the biggest buyer mistakes. Okay, buyer mistake number 1 is not having realistic expectations. I talk about this a lot in my videos and with my buyers and my buyers consultations to let them know realistically what they're facing. This is completely right now a seller's market. There's no sugarcoating it, and it's very tough for buyers. So if that's not something that you're willing to compete in, a market that you want to compete in right now, that is super understandable. I get it. So it's probably not the best time for you to buy, and that's okay. Hold what you got, stay renting. If you already have a house, maybe hold off until you're in a position where you want to compete in this market. So just something to think about. It's really important that you have realistic expectations. And realistic expectations also pertain to emotional and mental expectations throughout a transaction. There are a lot of moving pieces, and your agent's going to help explain all the things that cannot happen. This is real life. Real estate transactions can be stressful. I'm not gonna lie to you. Some go smoother than others. Sometimes things pop up that you don't expect. I always crack up when I hear other agents say, oh, work with me for a flawless, smooth transaction. The reality is some of these transactions can be stressful, and you have to be honest with yourself, kind of expect it to be stressful at some times, especially if you're more of an anxiety-ridden person. Then expect that you're gonna have some stressful moments. If you're chill and cool, calm, and collected, then obviously it won't be as stressful if that's your personality type. But just know yourself and know this is gonna be a big transaction, and your agent can help work with you through that to help ease your stress and your anxiety. But just expect that there are gonna be ups and downs mentally and emotionally throughout the transaction. Buyer mistake number 2, not knowing what you want or being afraid to commit. In this market, it is super fast paced, so you have to be ready to make decisions quickly, unfortunately. So there's a fine line between not wanting my client to feel pressured, but also not wanting them to miss out on opportunity on the house that would really work for them. So if you are not ready to commit and make decisions quickly, then it may not be the right time for you to buy. Just something to think about, because once you make a decision on a house and your offer is accepted, then you are in a legally binding agreement, and you can't just wake up the next day and say, oh, never mind, I like this one better, or I'm not ready to buy because I have cold feet. This is a legally binding document, and there are only very specific circumstances where you can terminate your contract legally. Buyer mistake number 3, not having your pre-approval letter before you go house hunting. I've talked about this in my other videos, and it's super important that you have your pre-approval letter in hand prior to looking at houses and putting in an offer. If you're out and about with your agent looking at houses and you find something that you want to put an offer on, you already want to have that step of getting pre-approved already taken care of. If not, you may miss out on the house that you really love. So to avoid that and avoid missing out on that house, we want to make sure that's all taken care of in advance and your agent has that pre-approval letter in hand. And who your pre-approval letter is through and who your loan officer is through and the mortgage company is super important as well. You want to make sure they are reputable and they're answering all your questions. They get back to you in a timely manner. And what happens if you have a question on a Saturday or Sunday about closing costs or property taxes or something that's a loan officer type question? Are they going to be able to get back to you? Are they professional? All these things you want to do your due diligence on the front end to make sure who your loan officer is and who the mortgage company is solid. Very important. Buyer mistake number 4, not being honest with your agent or your lender. Yes, this is really important that you're honest throughout the transaction, because let me tell you, if you're not, it will come out at some point or another, most likely. So it's just best to be honest upfront of your situation so your realtor and your loan officer know what's going on, so there are no surprises throughout the transaction. So if this is your first time buying a house, you may not realize, but it can be a pretty invasive process as far as privacy and the questions you get asked, because your agent, but especially your loan officer, are gonna have to ask a lot of private questions regarding your work history, your finances, your credit score, your current bank balances, where your money's coming from. Are you getting gifts from family members to pay for your down payment, your debts, and your current work situation. If you lose your job a week before closing on the house and you don't tell your lender, that's going to be an issue, because they check things before closing to make sure nothing's changed with your employment status or your credit. So it's just best to be upfront and honest with everything throughout the transaction, so there's no surprises and to save you the heartache down the line. So please be honest, and it'll make things so much smoother. Buyer mistake number 5, not picking the right agent. Yes, this is super important that you have a good fit for you and your family on who you're going to be working with in the home buying process. You can be with this agent potentially for months, especially if you're going the new construction route, a long time from start to finish, but when you have keys in hand. So you want to make sure that you guys get along and that it's a good personality fit. And if it's not, that's okay. Feel free to interview multiple agents to see what's going to be the best fit for you and your family's needs. You want to make sure to ask them, do they work full-time, part-time? Do they have other commitments? What are their business hours? Did they just get licensed last week? Are they on a team? Are they just a solo agent? And you just want to make sure they're communicating on a high level. They get back to you in a timely manner. They're professional, that your personalities click. You don't want it to be in a transaction and it just not be a good fit. That's just gonna be no fun for everyone involved. So feel free to ask around, get referrals, look at reviews, call different agents, and see who's gonna be the best fit for you. Okay, you guys, that wraps up this video for today. I hope it was helpful, and I hope it shines some light on some buyer mistakes you want to avoid. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to reach out to me. Find me on my business page on Facebook or email. That would be fine. And if you like this video, please give it a like or subscribe to my channel or hit that notification bell to be alerted for more videos that I release in the future. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Bye. Buyer mistake number 3. Buyer mistake number 4. Buyer mistake number 4. Buyer mistake number 4. Not being can't talk. And watch the what? Buyer mistake number 3. Not being pre-approved with a solid lender prior to